I had friends of mine that were building these underground structures in this area. I couldn't see a reason why, but what happened was we had an ice storm where literally we had no power, and which means no water. Your well didn't work. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to build mine, but it wasn't for like a bunker necessarily. I was kind of surprised at how vulnerable you are when, you're locked away from power for like 2 weeks. So then I thought, I got the bug. I'm like, I'm going to build myself one of those bunkers, but I don't want to just put all that money in the ground and never ever use it again. So my concept was to make it a guest house. People are building undergrounds forever, but they're very expensive to build. It's a monolithic pour. It's a lot of labor and it's very expensive.
Wow. This door is heavy duty. It's like a submarine door.
Yeah, it's major. You couldn't really break in this door. Okay.
Wow, that's intense.
So the whole thing, this is a 40-foot long tunnel.
Okay. And this is food storage then?
Yeah, this was the concept that I came up with, to have all the food storage, most of it in the hallway. It wouldn't use up the space inside. So this is formed in at 10 feet wide, but the inside's about 8. So, you got a nice little walkway down here. Because when you're building a big giant shoebox, it can take you a year to get that thing finished. So my concept was the Quonset Hut. And then we got all the bedrooms. It's nice inside. It's finished inside. And it literally only takes a month to do it. You can fly at it and really make it affordable, because the time is a big thing. Yeah, it's really quite comfortable in here.
Now you see that we're actually inside a Quonset hut, right?
Yeah.
Underground inside a Quonset hut.
Exactly. This structure, the reason I came up with this, because it's very easy to do it this way. Anybody can do this. That's a construction guy. Can put a Quonset hut up.
Okay, can you show me how it goes up?
You start on one side and you erect one piece at a time and keep going. You're lifting it up, and then you basically are bolting the last piece to the piece just prior. So all these bolts are there, including these ones that the whole piece here is what, 4 or 5 sections? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4 sections that you bolt all that together, and then the next one goes up and you just keep going, and you're tightening all the bolts as you go. And it just becomes a process of elimination. And basically this structure would take about a day to put up with 2, 3, 4 guys. It's really only 4 steps. You build a concrete floor.
So we have the first arch set up here.
And then you erect this Quonset hut on there, which is simple. It's functionally digestible for the average person.
So this is how we're anchoring in the Quonset. So we've got more than half of this done here. It's taken us about around 4 hours or so. 3 guys. It's been really simple, actually. Very straightforward. Yeah, it's worked out great.
Some of the other structures that are really involved, people are like, wow, that's a great idea, but I can't do that.
There's a escape hatch right here. Today we're having this whole structure sprayed with foam.
You spray foam it, so that's step 3. It's not that hard to do. That thing is going to be so freaking insulated, I'll tell you. Oh yeah. When you're spraying spray foam, when they spray it on like paint, it goes on flat, and it's just like within seconds it's 4 inches thick.
So right now they're making sure that it's 4 inches of foam on the valleys. On the outside edges, it's going to be 2 inches. This is all going to be shotcreted over.
And step 4 is connecting with the shotcrete company to shotcrete the whole thing with Helix Steel in it.
Look at that.
Shotcrete is just one way of doing something easy, because if you're going to build something, the other way to do it is pouring walls like they normally do for a basement. And for any structure that's made out of concrete, they have to have form boards, and then they fill it up with concrete, and then they take the form boards off. And then you put rebar in there. It's a big process. It takes a long time. This structure, this is like a 4-day structure to build. Then it's ready for spray foam. If you were doing a form structure, you'd have 10 guys on the thing for a month just getting ready for concrete. It's not hard and it's inexpensive, relatively speaking, you know. This structure here, I remember, was only $8,000 for this back, just this part of this system right here. I mean, if you get a concrete guy and you tell him you want to build you a big shoebox, you know, like a giant, whatever, this same size, but straight walls, flat roof, he's going to come in a number with like, just for that, it's going to come in like 150 grand.
So, did you know anyone who'd done a Quonset hut underground? Or
No,
put one underground?
no. I heard about people when I was doing it. People were trying to bury these the way they were without anything. And I'm like, not a chance, not a chance, because this is just a form to hold everything. Because literally this Quonset hut is not holding anything. It's just a form. That what's actually strong about this is the shotcrete with the Helix Steel in it on the outside. That's where the strength is, okay?
So all this earth was excavated and then put back on top.
Yeah.
And doesn't that also give it strength?
Yeah, you're dealing with the law of nature, like the eggshell thing, right? You know, the strength of an eggshell, that's what you got here. That arch creates a lot of extra strength.
So right now, it goes down 18 feet?
Yeah, we're about 6 feet on top, and then you got 12 and a half, 13 feet.
So it goes 18 feet underground, underneath us.
Yeah, on the floor side, but there's only 6 feet of dirt on top of it.
Right. And you picked this spot because it was a bit of a hill?
It's the highest spot on the land of their property.
Okay.
This is the highest spot because it really sheds that water, you know. That's the biggest question I always have for people is, can you do it on your property? Because if you don't have the fall, I wouldn't do it.
So you just need a way for the water to flow out.
Yeah, just think about gravity and water flow. Somebody did something to that vent. That's not how we did it. Somebody did something they put a new wood stove or something in. Here's that skylight. Those are bulletproof, like they're big welded pipes. This goes down over top of the tube itself.
Yeah.
That's all spray foam and shotcreted, so it can't leak. So this is the ventilation. That's the escape hatch, right? This is only removable from the inside.
Feels like it would be the opposite because it's so heavy, right?
Yeah, it's not that bad. It probably weighs about 50 pounds, but really once you push it like that, you know, it opens up.
Important, right? You can't.
Yeah, you don't want to have a structure with only one entrance.
Yeah.
You know, in anything, you know, a house or anything, right?
Right.
And there's also a pond liner. Like when you're building a pond, you put the pond liners inside your pond that hold water. Well, there's an umbrella of a pond liner on this whole thing. And it's about 2 or 3 feet down, and it stretches out past the structure 12 feet around the whole perimeter. So that essentially when the water comes and it goes through the ground, it'll hit that pond liner and it'll just shed it off the side like an umbrella does, right? So really not a lot of water ever gets even to the shotcrete.
Is there ever an issue where, you know, I don't know, if the fire came through, you'd want to shut off the vents, or, you know, is there something you'd need to worry about? Or I don't
you
know.
could shut the guillotines out so you didn't get, let's say you have, because there's a natural draw of air coming from the bottom up. Okay. So let's say that whole forest was on fire, and you had a lot of smoke. Yeah. You just shut the guillotine vents down until it stops. It'll stop drawing it in. You know? Yeah. You can build a house like this and you can have that whole face all windows. You can build on the hillside. They also had me make it so this could be used as a guest house. Because if you have the property and you spend 100 grand and you build one of these things, it's like that's what it would cost you anyway to build a little guest house on your property. So why not do it underground? And the other thing, this thing would not be affected by any weather conditions at all. Even if it was a fire outside and the whole forest burnt down, This would not be affected. 500-mile-an-hour winds would not touch this structure because it's underground. So it's like wind blowing over the countryside, right? When you're having a windstorm and you got trees going like this over your house, you know, one of those trees could fall right through your cabin any moment. So hearing about a storm that might have 100-mile-an-hour winds, let's say, or hurricane winds, you come in this thing, you got no concern whatsoever. So that's really what people build them for. And the other thing is just to have like a secret place, you know, it's like everybody would love to have a little, like a man cave type thing and just little getaways, you know, and the future, maybe they wanted to be hidden away for a couple months.
I mean, you actually have a kitchen, like a regular kitchen, right?
Yeah. This guy in particular, he wanted a wood stove. This is his thing. And I'm like, you know what? Sure, do it. But realistically, what a person would really do in here is just have like a propane burner. They burn 99% efficient, so you don't have any off gassing. You can have a hood vent in it too. It can be another penetration where if this was my structure, I'd put a regular stove here and have that turn into a hood vent. But anyway, this kitchen's fully functional. It's got, you know, you got your standard
Sink.
thing and, you know, everything you need.
Yeah, completely. It actually looks quite conventional with the cabinets and the dishwasher or refrigerator.
It's a little baby refrigerator. The only thing that they don't have, they weren't that popular back in 2010.
Induction?
Yeah. So they weren't as popular back then, but really that's a way to go because they use minimal power or propane.
Yeah. Okay, in a microwave. So everything's wired. I mean, you have everything wired all the way back. Like
this does have power coming to it.
Yeah.
It's not solar.
Yeah.
This structure. It all got wired so that every room has power, and then of course it's got the whole upstairs loft, which can be used for either extra like bunks or whatever up there, or storage like they have it. And also that's the escape hatch back there as well. Okay. Yeah, come on and see the rooms. Yeah, so I would say this is about 9 feet by 9, pretty much, you know. So it's got all the storage, right?
Right, it's self-storage, yeah.
And then this one here is a little smaller room because the master bedroom's bigger. This is quite a bit of footage in here because you got this bed here and you got another bedroom back in the back corner here.
So is this the master?
Yeah.
This is the main bedroom.
Yeah, this is the master bedroom, yeah. Okay. Supposedly.
Yeah. Wow.
Same there, that's a small one. This is another bedroom here, which would have been the same size as that, but they put a water tank in here. This here has like a 1,300-gallon water tank.
Oh, wow. Huge.
Which I prefer to have them outside. Okay. And then they gravity feed in. That's how I would do it because you don't want to have anything mechanical. Possibly you could run right off a gravity feed to bring your water in. Right now, this is sitting at ground level, so you have to have a pump to operate that, right?
Yeah.
And then this had little bunk beds.
Yeah, it's nice.
And then you can see it has a full-on functional bathroom with a standard, you know, like a shower system and stuff.
And the water comes in through next to us here.
Well, actually, as you entered, you'll notice there was an actual well casing there.
Okay.
So that there's a well in this thing.
Okay, that's just extra.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's just in case the well,
Okay.
whatever, you know.
Okay.
They wanted that extra.
Okay.
It was kind of like a common thought back then to have extra storage for water.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really quite comfortable in here. And the reality is these structures, underground structures, generally stay, I don't know if it's a worldwide thing, but I know that in this area it stays at 55 degrees all the time.
Wow.
And this actually gets a little bit cooler because the ventilation's open. You see this, you can see that moving, right? That's the air coming in.
Oh, so you always need fresh air coming in.
Just because you want the air to be moving, but really you don't need that much air because you're concerned about how much air you have to breathe. It's never really too cold in here. And then in the summer, it gets to about 65 all the time. So the ventilation right now, this particular one is connected to this hallway, and there's a vent on the front by the front door, which brings air through that hallway and brings it in here. So if you're, if you want to have air, you could put that in there, right? Wow. That guillotine vent there. So, and then this one has a 60-foot pipe running way out. The other vent you can see at the end of that hallway at the top, that one's the outtake vent. So if you know how that works, right? Heat rises. So that air is going to want to go out that vent, which causes this vent to draw the air from outside. This pipe here is about 60 feet long, which goes all along that tunnel, the entry tunnel, and then it goes past another 20 feet, and it's on a slope. Those are like, I think, 20-foot pipes that are running in there, and they'll condensate when the air is flowing in. So I have 80 feet of pipe going on a slope up into the structure to vent that. So as the air is pulled through this area, the air condensates inside that pipe and then it drops out on this side. So it basically is an air dryer. You'll notice if you're in there, you notice it's very dry in there. That's part of the reason. The air comes up through a screen here and goes inside, okay? So you can open this up and then all that air will come in there. It'll go through the hallway, it keeps the air really nice and fresh in this hallway. And as it comes in here, it's drier than it would be without those pipes. Here's the hand pump. Let's say something happened to the water. Basically, I could pump this by hand and it'll come out this garden hose. This is probably like a 200-foot well. And when they're not used much, it takes a while to get them priming. But if I did this for about 5 minutes, I'd have tons of water coming out of there. Eventually, it'd come out like a garden hose, So pressure tank, like any house, pressurizes the water, supplies the infrastructure, Yeah, it's a pretty cool little structure. And then I put this here because this, if you ever have to change a well, you need to get a way to pull that out. You could put your hoist through this hole and yank your well out and pull it out if you ever had to change a pump. Yeah, this has got kitchen, living room area, back rooms, well.
And you're putting the wiring through?
Most of the wiring was done after, just screwed to the wall.
Yeah. Funny, it does feel warmer in here. You feel it already. Once you get inside, it's warmer in here. Yeah.
And here, I want to show you this escape hatch. So if you walk back here like this, I'll show you how this works. So here's the other guillotine vent. Okay. So that would shut off. So let's say you want to get more airflow. Open that up. And that goes up through there. That black is a 90. It's a 12-inch 90. So it goes straight up outside. And then here is the escape hatch.
So you can get out?
Yeah, you can get out through here. And you go up 8 feet in that hole up there. I'm not that interested in going up that hole.
So all this here is just like food and...
It's always about emergency preparedness. Yeah. So, and stuff you can buy nowadays, you can get stuff that lasts 20 years. All you have to do is add water. So that's what a lot of people have. Yeah. They probably have enough food storage here for a couple of years for 5 people.
So you've just one skylight?
Yeah, I just put one. And I don't know how that thing got so dirty, but it's been 13 years, so. This one here is 40 feet long, 40-foot tunnel, so it's 80 feet total. The very first one I did was only 30 feet long, so it was 10 feet shorter, but this is actually a way better structure. You can see how much space you get here. There's a ton to live. You could live in here easily. That's the thing about the Quonset is I like the eggshell feel, okay? It's already,
That's your thing, right?
And it's kind of nice because once you get this structure up, it's waterproof. It's made for outdoors, so if it's raining like a son of a gun, you can still work inside here before you get the outside done. You can start doing the inside. Okay. It's all waterproof, right?
There's the master. So we have a whole brace system going on here. It's 4x4s.
I don't like to waste, and I don't like to have materials left over. When I'm done with all that 4x4s, I cut them all up and I built all the walls with those. So the idea behind it was a double use, so you're not wasting material. A lot of guys, you end up with a whole pile of materials waiting for the next job. I like just using it up and done. And you don't take nothing out of here, because they're all like 12 feet long. So you get them on a chop saw and you start making all your walls, your supports, everything with those 4x4s. So it's a double used thing, right? And you can also clad this whole thing if you wanted. You could clad this with curved wood, and you could do this as a sheetrocked tunnel in here. Like you could sheetrock this and paint it if you didn't like the metal.
How about sizes? Would a like smaller or bigger size work the same way?
I think it's all as much what you want to conceive, because this one guy is calling me. He wants to do a 50-foot across structure. This is 25. He wants to know. He said something like 60 feet wide, 30 feet tall. I told him, I said, you know, you can do that. You'd have to get it engineered, but it would be a very big process because you'd literally have to have crane lifting everything in place, and I wouldn't want to get involved in that, you know. But you can make them smaller. You can get these Quonset huts that are, this is 25 feet across. You can get a 12-foot one. See, it's still got a 10-foot tall lid, right? 12 feet wide. You could do that, you know, and just do it however long you wanted, right? People have done them not only for undergrounds, they've done them for shops, workplaces, and just little getaways, you know? So, and some people that I did structures for back in those days, most of them were looking at the preparation for the days to come, anything that might happen.
Yeah.